giants like Google, Meta, and Amazon have been making billions off Canadians and paying next to nothing in taxes. That's not an opinion, that's a pure fact. And now, Canada's finally calling their bluff. So here's what's happening. The Canadian government is about to slap a new tax on big tech. We're talking about the most powerful and most profitable corporations on the planet. And the US is losing its mind over it. And I mean full-blown trade war threats, tariffs, retaliation, all because we dare to say, hey, maybe Google and Facebook should actually pay taxes where they make their money. Shocking concept, right? I mean, this tax has been in the works for years, but now it's real and it's actually here. Washington and Trump are pissed. So let's talk about it. Why Canada's doing this? I mean, what the tax actually is and why the US is acting like it's the end of the world. This isn't just some nerdy tax policy buried in government report. It's about digital sovereignty, global power, and Canada finally saying, we're not your digital doormat anymore. Let's back up for one quick second. We live in a country where almost every online ad you see, every search you make, and every product you buy on your phone goes through a handful of American companies. Google, Meta, Amazon, maybe even TikTok. That's the market. And they're making billions from Canadian eyeballs. Our clicks, our data, our dollars, and they barely pay a dime in Canadian corporate tax. Because their headquarters are in the US or Ireland or Luxembourg or wherever their accountants can park the profits. Now, imagine being a Canadian company. Let's say you're a local news site or a small e-commerce brand, and you're stuck paying Canadian taxes, dealing with Canadian regulations, trying to compete with trillion-dollar companies that don't follow the same rules. It's just unfair, and it's a completely broken system. So that's why this digital service tax exists. Canada's basically saying, enough. If you're making money off Canadians, you're going to pay your share, just like everybody else. But, of course, big tech did not take that well, and neither did the US government. Because even though this tax technically targets companies, we all know who really runs the show: Silicon Valley and Capitol Hill. Here's the actual plan. Canada is proposing a 3% tax on certain digital revenues made by the largest online companies operating here. So no, this isn't some blanket internet tax on everybody. It's pretty laser focused. We're talking about revenues from online ads like Facebook, Instagram, Google ads, selling user data, because yes, that's still happening. And online marketplaces like Amazon or Airbnb, they're collecting commissions from Canadian users. Only companies that make over 750 million euros globally and over 20 million in Canada would be affected. So it's not targeting startups or small businesses. This is a tax on multinationals. It's been in the works since 2021, but now it's set to kick in. It could be applied retroactively to profits made since January 1st, 2022. That's over 2 years of back taxes. I mean, Silicon Valley is probably screaming. This isn't just about money, this is about power. Who makes the rules in Canada? US or the tech companies? Mining our data? If you're still watching this video, please smash that like button. Seriously, it helps push this video out to more people who need to know that this is happening. And if you're into content that breaks this stuff down without the corporate fluff, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. All right, let's get to it. So how do the United States respond to all of this? Like a calm, rational trade partner? No, they basically threw a fit. US Trade Representative Catherine Tai warned that if Canada moves ahead, they will consider all options, including tariffs. That's diplomat speak for, we will punch back hard. And this is not just tough talk. The US already ran trade investigations into countries like France, the UK, and India when they introduced similar taxes. In France's case, they even approved tariffs on French wine and luxury goods. So yes, this could be real, but why so defensive? It's because 95% of the companies that would be taxed are American. This tax doesn't name names, but come on, let's face it, might as well. It's Facebook, it's Google, it's Amazon. That's who's in the crosshairs. And Washington sees that as a direct attack on its economic influence. Not just business, but dominance. So here's what's different this time. Canada is not backing down. The government has been crystal clear that this isn't a negotiation, it's a policy. And unless a global solution comes fast, the DST is going into effect. Now, the Minister of Finance basically said, we gave the OECD process time, 4 years actually, and we are done waiting. That's a direct quote from a recent press conference. We cannot keep delaying action while Canadian businesses suffer. And honestly, the OECD, which is this international group of 100+ countries trying to create a global digital tax agreement, has been dragging its feet for years. Deadlines keep getting extended, promises are made, and then nothing happens. So Canada said, that's it. We're going ahead, even if it means a fight. Now let's be real. A 3% tax on $1 billion corporation is not going to bankrupt anybody. These companies spend more on executive bonuses than they'll lose on this tax. But it does send a message. If you want to profit off of Canadians, you don't get to skip out on your responsibilities. It also helps level the playing field for Canadian businesses. Our companies actually pay taxes here. They hire people. They can't just offshore their revenue and pretend it never happened. But this is where it gets a little messy. Big tech companies will 100% try to pass the cost down. You'll probably see higher ad rates, worse service, or new fees in the fine print. Because of course, they'll try to punish us for demanding fairness. It's like when Uber gets fined and then suddenly a regulatory fee appears on your ride bill. These companies know how to play the victim. All right, well, guys, Canada's not alone. France has already implemented a digital tax. So did Italy, Austria, Turkey, Spain, India, the list goes on. And none of those countries collapsed under US pressure. In fact, the global trend is moving toward taxing big tech fairly. The US just doesn't like it because it messes with their cash cow. But the irony, even the US agreed in principle to the global tax system at the OECD. They just don't want it enforced until after their election. So Canada's basically being told, wait for us, don't do anything that might hurt our companies until we sort out our politics. So this whole thing isn't just about tax rates. It isn't about digital sovereignty or who controls our digital economy. Because if we don't draw a line right now, we'll just keep getting steamrolled. Every time a Canadian newspaper shuts down because of Meta's ad monopoly, every time a local business gets buried under Amazon's algorithm, that's not just capitalism. That's economic colonization dressed up in a code of AI. We let it happen for years. And now we're finally saying enough. We want rules that work for us, not rules written in Silicon Valley and enforced with trade threats from DC. And honestly, this is so long overdue. So here's the bottom line. Canada's digital service tax isn't perfect, but it's certainly a good start. It's our government drawing a line in the sand and saying we're not going to get bullied by trillion-dollar companies anymore. The US can threaten all the tariffs it wants, but this time we're not blinking. Because if Google can sell ads to Canadians, if Amazon can take a cut of our sales, and if Meta can use our data to make billions, then guess what? They can pay 3% for the privilege. And if that sounds fair to you, and if you're just tired of watching Canadian businesses get steamrolled, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who may find this video informative. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.